You may be asking why we have included the Cosmic Voyage video as an introduction to Montessori integrative learning. We note that humans are storytellers and symbol makers. The images from the video are the facts of our science and its present understanding of the universe, from creation of the cosmos to our Earth, from the smallest bacteria to the largest Gaian ecosystem. Montessori and our program proposes that education could be based on this story as its context, a cosmological context as our vision. In the book, Education for a New World, Montessori asserts, "The world was not created only for us to enjoy, but we are created in order to evolve the cosmos." In addition, we accept the view that life and learning are an unbroken whole that form an eco-cosmological basis for education. From the cosmological and the ecological, we take the universe story of the whole, our unity. Our learning is both unique and individual. Our cultures give us spirituality, customs, arts, and they are the diversity that enrich our universe. There is a great crisis facing the earth. Two worlds are colliding, one of imperialism and world domination, the other of global public opinion leaning towards an integrated, holistic view of the earth and concern for systemic sustainability. The Internet is playing a strategic role in this by enabling the development of a global community of individuals. It symbolizes the kind of communication possibilities that create the symbolic idea of a new sphere. The word was coined by Edouard Leroy and popularized by Vladimir Vernadsky and Teilhard de Chardin. Vernadsky saw the new sphere as a part of the biosphere, while Chardin saw it as a sphere of integrated human consciousness. Montessori had some inclination of this. When asked her nationality, she replied, "My country is a planet that revolves around a star and is called Earth." To prepare for the impressionistic pictures and words that will follow, it might be helpful to consider a few of Montessori's key insights. One of the chief ones that she put forward was that the child is self-creating. In order to explain this, Montessori used the image from the technology of her time. If you will, imagine that you are seeing a movie film of a pebble thrown into a pond. Now, in your imagination, reverse the film. The pebble emerges from the pond. The child is that pebble. The environment of the water is the environment that surrounds the child and allows the child to express its finality or final form as a self-created adult. This simple illustration is refined with the current Santiago theory and the view of autopoiesis, the mutual exchange of child and surroundings and the process of cognition that is now more complete and accurate, taking into account Montessori's insistence that adults prepare themselves and the environment in order to follow the needs of the child. Let us now follow that story. Teachers and parents all over the world are searching for approaches to education that allow children to mature in a way that creates free, just, and peaceful societies as members of an integrated Earth community. Who was Dr. Maria Montessori? Maria Montessori was born in 1870. Throughout her early years, she said she would never be a teacher. She wanted to be a medical doctor. After focusing on the sciences and engineering during her secondary year, she decided to enter medical school. She was turned away by the establishment, but she persisted until she gained entry. Her initial work as a doctor was with mentally challenged children in a psychiatric ward. Through her observations, she determined that they were sensorially deprived, so she extended the ideas of Sagan and Itard by providing materials for the children to manipulate. In time, these hospitalized children learned to read and write, and her work gained national attention. In 1907, she opened the first Casa dei Bambini, or Children's House, in Rome, Italy, where slum children were brought in order to remove them from the streets. Her experimental work with them produced miraculous results, with children blossoming into abstract learning through concrete materials far beyond their years. It was a process based on observation of the child, followed by the child's self-education in a prepared environment. As her insights expanded, she became an outspoken activist for equal rights for women. By the early 1930s, she was speaking at huge congresses about the nature of a peaceful society that could only emerge from a fundamental change in the way we educate children. And in the 1940s, with her son Mario Montessori at her side, she became convinced that every child needs to be exposed to the story of the universe as the largest context for living life in an interdependent cosmic world. By the time of her death in 1952, she had developed a comprehensive framework for revolutionizing education. It was very far from the mainstream of conventional governmental education. Instead of indoctrinating young people to become citizens of a nation, her aim was to liberate the child from the entrapment of the adult in order to create a new and harmonious civilization. This is an introduction to Montessori's radical education. The word radical itself means original, fundamental, reaching to the core or ultimate source, affecting the vital principles. Montessori's insights came from the study of the child. Her ability to observe and reflect on her observations created a totally new context for the child's self-learning. The context for Montessori education is a prepared environment developed on the basis of humanity's fundamental needs and tendencies. In this photograph of an early 20th century Montessori experiment, we see children learning in an outdoor environment. This was in juxtaposition to other educationalists who were locking children into dull, uninteresting, and dark buildings. We witness here one demonstration of Montessori's view of the true needs of the learning human. We propose to begin by drawing on 3 sources in order to point to insights that may be helpful in our understanding of the radical nature of Montessori education. The sources of wisdom, on which we will call, are in 3 parts. The first being Montessori's idea that we must follow the child. Maria Montessori said, "Do not follow me, but follow the child for inspiration." Second, the contributions of Maria and Mario Montessori that help us to learn how to follow the child. And third, other adults that work within the Montessori community that today are supporting one another's information and knowledge. So what does it mean to follow the child. Within the framework of Montessori education, which has as its basis the needs and tendencies of the child as the creator of humanity, all is contained in how the adult responds to the child. In the view of Maria Montessori, competence and expression arise from inviting innate human tendencies to emerge through experience, and not from the imposition of a curriculum on the child. The prepared environment provides this opportunity. Maria Montessori, and later her son Mario, created a unique vision of education based chiefly on their observations of children and adolescents. We have their writing and courses that they set down for us, as well as practical application learned during our teacher preparation. The source number 3 is a community of adult learners. The direct influence of Maria Montessori and her family is less today. We must call upon seriously committed fellow teachers to delve into the work in order to continually refresh and apply its wisdom. In this regard, we believe that the method itself needs to be presented to adult learners using the same principles with which one approaches children. There needs to be congruence between the philosophy and the environment in which the adult learns. Montessori's worldview. We can trace some of the varied interests and expertise that influenced the worldview of Maria and Mario Montessori. Might they still, with eagerness, be following those influences today? Their lifetimes spanned the years of a paradigm that is now dying, and only gradually is the new paradigm emerging. Many of their thoughts have tremendous relevance to this new paradigm, and some may need to have varied levels of adjustment in light of new understandings. We have identified 8 areas that we know influenced the Montessoris: observation and experience, medicine, mathematics, anthropology, feminism, peace, cosmology, and ecology. Love, science, and spirituality are embedded throughout their thinking. Still today, the world is attempting to redefine these aspects of life. The Montessoris were ahead of their Newtonian paradigm in realizing the connections. It was Mario who said, "There is a shining figure associated with the name of Maria Montessori who revolutionized the whole world by her love, by her science, and by her spirituality." Evolving the Montessori approach. Cosmological worldview, learning insights, practice, participants, Montessori's vision, autopoiesis, communication, macrophase wisdom. In the images that follow, we will begin to comprehend the radical nature of Montessori's approach. It is not limited to didactic exercises, but casts a cosmic context for appropriate human learning. In the next segments, we will explore 8 aspects of a Montessori learning community.